To begin our Piet Mondrian lesson, you are going to think of an animal or find an animal from one of the drawing books to help you. An animal that you are pretty confident in drawing. So some of the drawing books really are super detailed, but we don't need a drawing or an animal that's super, super detailed. It can be a very, very simple drawing with just shapes. I think this frog would be a great example. So I am going to start at step 1 and really just look at the shapes on the outside. I don't have to worry about those inside details or any of the texture spots. So looking at this frog, if I can get them both in the camera at the same time, I want to fill up my paper space. So I'm drawing the oval body really big. And then this step 1 has some circle shapes for the eyes on the side, more just like semicircles, half circles, and some oval shapes for the legs on the sides. What else? That's pretty basic. I don't need that detail on the inside. I might add the lines for the feet on the inside so we can see that the animal has the 4 legs. And then the feet are very webbed. They start with some lines and then connect for the webbing. And the same thing on the other side. Very simple drawing. Some of the toes are over here too. And I really focused on drawing big, taking up all my paper space. When you are done with a very simple outline, I think I might need to get the eyes in there. It looks like the eyes have some circle shapes too. Once we're done with our pencil drawing, we're going to use those permanent markers with a messy mat underneath to outline the shape of the animal. So if you're making a giraffe, you don't need to worry about making the spots of the giraffe. If you're making a cow, you wouldn't need to do the spots either, just the outlined shape. So if you can pretend that I have outlined all of those pencil lines, my next step is to really act like Piet Mondrian and create some vertical up and down lines and some horizontal lines side to side. These lines can stretch all the way across your animal's body, or they might just start from a line and stop at another line. I am really making sure that my ruler is staying straight up and down. It's not going at an angle at all. I'm not making triangle shapes. They're all rectangles and squares. They could be skinny, really tiny. They could be really big. If you have an animal that you see a separate leg, those also could have horizontal and vertical lines. I'm doing these in pencil first. If you feel pretty confident to use your ruler and your Sharpie, you can just draw your lines with that permanent marker. We are going to have to go over them all so that they stand out nice. Our last step, once everything is drawn in pencil and outlined with that Sharpie marker, is to add some Piet Mondrian colors. And Piet used the primary colors. So you can choose which shapes you want to color with the primary colors. We're going to use markers today. You want to be extra careful that you don't keep rubbing in the same spot. Some friends have had a problem with their paper ripping because they keep rubbing the marker in the same spot. So you want to kind of have a couple reds, a couple yellows, a couple blues. Piet Mondrian even had some black shapes if you would choose to color a few black. You do not need to color the whole animal. It's okay to have white left as well. Our last step is to cut our animals out. When you're cutting, if you have very tiny little shapes, it's okay to leave a little bit of that white around your animal. If you're pretty confident in cutting in between all those shapes, you can cut right on your line. The last step is to do nice, neat gluing. So that means our glue goes on the back of our animal, and then it's going to go on the colored background that you have. Finished projects will go in the drying rack.